Please subscribe the channel for more videos. We promise to keep you entertained. Afterwards, Shin is told that Sicilian is being hounded by a guy, and Kurt arrives upset to see that Sicilian is talking to another boy. Shin stops his advances and Sicilian finally sticks up for herself. However, Kurt then reminds her that his father is her father's boss and makes it clear that he has ill intentions. Og stops everything as he is disgusted at Kurt's behavior and threatens to speak to his father's boss. Og is impressed by Shin's performance and points out how Sicilian is too. Shin is still worried about the girls, so he invites them to his house and they excitedly accept. The prince and his escorts join them as well, and they all introduce themselves. At his house, Shin asked permission from Melita to enchant Sicilian's uniform, the same way he did his. Melita explains how big a request it is and reveals that Shin has created a national treasure grade protective gear. She states how invaluable it is and wonders what makes Sicilian so deserving of such powerful gear. Sicilian apologizes that she feels that she preyed on Shin's sympathy by asking for his help and tries to leave. Melita stops her, though, as she gave the exact honest answer she wanted to hear, and laughs about how worked up Shin has gotten on her behalf. Shin explains that he doesn't feel like she used him at all, and he states that she can ask for his help anytime. Melita agrees to let him enchant her uniform. After they leave, Shin explains that he doesn't think these enchantments are that big of a deal. But Merlin reveals that they could change the world. Moments later, Shin astonishes everyone, including Melita, with his enchanting process. But the king explains that no one else can know about it. The reason being is that if a military were to learn about the immensely powerful enchantments, then it could start a war. Shin agrees not to enchant more uniforms, but reveals that he was going to do Ox next. The king wants his son to get an enchanted uniform as well, so he encourages Shin to do just a couple more. After he does, Shin offers to walk Sicilian home from school every day and explains that it won't be a bother since he can just use a gate. They have no clue what he means, so he shows them by using a gate to take them to his old home deep in the woods. Everyone is amazed since magic like that doesn't exist, and Shin simply states that he bent space to do it. Everyone is in disbelief and they all tell Shin how bad it is for him to be so careless about who he shows his incredible powers to. Later, Sicilian thanks Shin for picking her up to walk her to school, and he explains that it's not a big deal since he uses a gate anyway. He states that he can't afford to let anything happen to her, and Maria struggles to hold in her vomit. At school, Og teases Shin for arriving with the girls, and they meet a girl named Alice, who arrives just in time for class. The teacher arrives soon after to give them a tour and explains that the school is divided into two buildings. One building is for the classrooms and the other one has the faculty offices, student council room, and rooms for study groups. There is the magical gear making study group, attack magic group, and body strengthening group. Og's bodyguard explains that if it wasn't for his duties guarding Og, then he would definitely join the bodybuilding one. Og doesn't like being escorted and convinces his guard to join this study group. Shin explains that he doesn't want to join a guild, and Og assumes it's because it wouldn't be a challenge for someone as powerful as him. Instead, Og suggests that Shin starts a study group of his own, and everyone agrees. The professor explains that all he needs to start one is 5 members and an advisor. He offers to be the advisor, and everyone ignores Shin's request to slow things down. Ideas are then tossed around about what kind of study group it would be. Shin's friends all agree on the ultimate magic study group that focuses on mastering all types of magic. Elsewhere, army leaders discuss the extreme increase in demon sightings over the year. The strange thing is that no one seemed to have noticed, and it is explained that it's because the daily increases have been minuscule. A man named Dominic speculates that the increase is man-made. The others quickly become upset at the absurd idea. They demand that an investigation be started and decide to enlist the Demon Hunter Society. Elsewhere, Kurt is scolded by his father for throwing his standing around at the academy, and he defends himself by stating that they are chosen people. It's not right for people to disrespect him, and he blames it all on Shin. Kurt's father won't allow him to speak that way and has Kurt locked up in his room so he can think of a punishment. At the school, the other students hear about Kurt being locked up and think about how much he has changed since middle school. They can't figure out what caused the change, but point out how he started acting different after attending Mr. Strom's lab. Mr. Strom is a magic teacher that claimed to have been exiled from the Empire, and he once invited any student that was decent with magic to visit his laboratory. He's seemingly blind since he has a patch over his eyes, but is able to move normally with some type of sensing magic. Back at Kurt's house, Mr. Strom stops by and Kurt's mother thanks him for coming, since she doesn't know what to do about her son. Strom goes to see Kurt and reminds him that he is a chosen person and that there is nothing he can't get. Kurt explains that he couldn't get a girl because of Shin, so Strom instructs him to teach Shin a lesson. The next day, Og points out Shin will not have to escort Sicilian to school anymore since Kurt is locked up, but Shin explains that there isn't any harm in taking her as friends. Sicilian is glad to hear this, and Og points out that it's a good idea since there still might be unsavory characters roaming about. Shin points out how he will be able to sense anyone with bad intentions using his search magic, and is surprised to hear that no one else can do that. He wonders if they have ever hunted a demon before, but they haven't since they are barely out of middle school. Shin explains how the feeling of demons is similar to that of people with ill intent, and the others are amazed to hear about how his demon hunting experience started at age 10. Afterwards, the group walked outside when Shin senses ill will directed towards him and his friends. Kurt is the source of the malice, and Shin must act quickly to block his attack. He asks his friend to channel magic into their enchanted uniforms to protect themselves, and they show concern when Shin's hands are severely wounded from blocking the attack. Shin's auto-healing kicks in though, as he thinks about how the attack was so sudden that he couldn't create the barrier fast enough. The group realized that Kurt is clearly trying to kill them and determined that he has completely lost control. Kurt's condition worsens, and everyone is shocked to see that he has turned into a demonoid. Shin asks everyone to leave since they don't have any experience hunting demons, and Og wonders if it's because they will be in the way. Shin surprises everyone when he says that is exactly why he wants them to leave. His friends run away while some go to inform the nearest teachers, and Shin attacks the approaching Kurt. He surprises himself though when he does damage, as he only wanted to slow Kurt down. Strangely, Kurt is still able to speak as he proclaims his hate for Shin, and somehow can clearly still feel pain. This leads Shin to believe that Kurt hasn't totally become a demonoid, and there might still be a way to turn him back. Shin can't think for long though, as Kurt begins to channel a power that could destroy the entire school, and Shin can't do anything to stop him. Shin is out of time though and determines that he has no other choice but to kill Kurt. Shin apologizes to Kurt as he ends his life and explains that he has never killed a human before. His friends return and shocked to see that he defeated the demonoid all alone, but Shin can only wonder if he did the right thing. Og explains that it will change how everyone will see Shin from now on. There have only ever been 2 demonoids in human history now. The first destroyed an entire country, but Shin was able to defeat this one all on his own. Soldiers arrive to see what happened, and Og makes sure to give Shin sole credit for defeating the powerful demonoid. And the episode ends here. Please subscribe the channel for more such videos and let us know in the comments about your favorite part of the video. Thank you for